Thank you to Drachma55 for their generous donation on Patreon. If you would like to join them in their generosity, the link to my Patreon page is in the description. Hello everyone, my name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and welcome to me taking my medication. Here's pill number 1 of 6. Oh my god, my fucking microphone's been way the hell up here. I am so sorry. Hello. I wanted to give a brief explanation. I said this on Twitter, but it deserves to be said here as well. The all of the aboves. Right now, the one that went out today, it went out 3 hours ago, and it's sitting at 10 views. Feeling very humbled right now. I know podcasts aren't everyone's thing. Podcasts are barely even my thing. I prefer podcasts that I can digest in snippets. The retros, those are old shows from when we started the show back in 2014, and Caleb found them on his computer. He sent them to me, and I've edited them so that to take the songs out because it was on the radio. We played music, and that's all I've been able to do while I've been on bed rest because I exacerbated my back a while back, and then I thought I was recovered before I was, and so it got worse after a bit, and so the only thing I've been able to record in the past long while was one video with Fabulous Aura that'll go out in his channel at some point, and then the up-to-date episode of All of the Above. I've done 2 of those, and both times I've been sitting here in a lot of pain. I did attempt to record a little bit of the smoke room, which will bring us to today's episode and why I know something is a little fucky. But yeah, when it comes down to it, those retro episodes of All of the Above, they've been in high number, not because I'm trying to change the format of the channel or because I'm trying to annoy anyone. Some people have left the channel. Cool. But yeah, it's been because I've been fucking injured and I couldn't record. But, you know, maybe you give them a shot, maybe you enjoy them. It's up to you. Anyway, so while I was trying to record the smoke room, all I got was to this. I haven't actually seen anything of the updated stuff because what they updated took them back before this choice, and we said, I don't. And that's what we got here. And which is weird because the text that was saying was actually before the choice in the old version. So I don't know what the fuck, but the update basically ended right after that choice anyway. So yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is different. He asked us in the old version, like, what's the scoop or what's the news or whatever the shit. But this is different. It's not letting me go back? I can't scroll. What? Why, though? I might be in a bit more of a salty mood, because I'm still not fully fucking recovered here. It still hurts to sit, so I've got to, like, try to find a comfortable position. But I want to record something so that people don't get fucking mad at me, because I'm just posting, I don't know, the podcast I really enjoy doing, or the old radio show I'm really proud of. I have to think of something to say and fast. Can ask you the same thing. What's going on between you and Cliff? Don't dodge the question. Just trading information, same as you did. Did he tell you? No, but I know what foxes smell like. Oh, so now we have the back button. What the fuck was the point of that? He shakes his head. We had a chat at his apartment, and one thing led to another. It was a nice change of pace. It surprises me how easily I managed to get that out of him. Almost like he wants me to know. Probably does. So you're not denying it. Denying it would be a waste of both of our time. I think it's your turn to answer my question. There's no getting out of this one. Just, forgot about an appointment I had. Must have been an important fellow if you left without buying anything. You could say that again. You looked frightened. I was worried I'd said something to upset you. Murdoch, Sam, what's the matter? Cliff comes padding back to us. Oh, Sam and I just had some matters to talk about. You can talk on the road if you'd like. We need to be out of town before the sun rises. Very well. We'll continue this conversation some other time, then. Ooh, we're getting pushed along. Chapter 2, Clifford. Ooh, Clifford. Clifford. Wait a minute. Wait a fuck. Good old Oregon Trail ass wagon. Here we go. Out into the desert. At least we're getting out of Echo. In the cover of darkness, Jebediah leads us through the empty streets all the way to the outskirts of town, where he prepared a small wooden wagon. It ain't a pretty one, that's for sure. Paint on the wood's cracked, and what I can see underneath seems to be rotting. Not to mention the smell. A pair of rather scraggly-looking donkeys stands in front. They don't exactly look like they're going to be of much help trekking across the desert. I wonder if we're going to be okay. And judging by the look on Murdoch's face, he feels much the same. I help with the heavy lifting. Most of Cliff's gear goes on the wagon. Murdoch's brought a few crates of supplies himself. Canned food and the like. I can smell some booze, too. Is this all from the store? That's a lot. We really going to need all this? It helps to be prepared. As much faith as I have in Jebediah and our group, disaster could strike at any moment. It's a good thing you came along, Samuel. Without a strong man such as yourself or Murdoch on camera duty, I'd have had to delay my expedition even further. Perhaps I wouldn't have been able to go at all. My sponsor would have been so disappointed. That's the first time I've heard about a sponsor. Ain't he pretty rich already? I suppose I haven't told you yet, Samuel. My expenses have been paid for by a gracious donor. Now, I will be the first to admit that I have had a rather fortunate upbringing. I do not want for money, and I've been able to see more of the world than I could have ever dreamed. But expeditions like this don't come cheap, Samuel. Without my sponsor, why, I wouldn't be here right now. Who is your sponsor? Cliff clears his throat with a soft hem. He did not wish to be named. I got a feeling. Call it a hunch. But I feel like he might be the only rich motherfucker we know in this goddamn town. I mean, we don't know anyone from Batavia, so it wouldn't make sense for it to be a character from way the fuck back there. So who knows? Who the fuck knows? Well, someone knows. The fucking authors of this probably, but we don't. Well, that ain't suspicious at all. It'll be money well spent. My thesis will change how we view native populations around the world. Not sure spending money on whores counts as money well spent, but I ain't complaining. Especially when this is getting me out of Echo. You really think so? Researching the Meseta culture has been a dream of mine since I was but a first year. I've devoured every book, every newspaper clipping I could ever hope to find, and it's all led me right here. That's some dedication, right, Jebediah? The horse, tending to one of the donkeys, grunts. Seeing them next to each other is kind of uncanny, and I struggle to keep my eyes on Cliff. The coming days have to be perfect. I cannot allow anything to go wrong. If I can't learn all there is to know about the Meseta, I might as well go home. Those are some lofty expectations. Not to say it won't be enjoyable, of course. You bring a guitar or something? I did. And he has quite a good singing voice. You're flattering me, Mr. Tibbets. You're too humble. It's the truth. This fox is anything but humble. I'm looking forward to hearing you sing as well, Samuel. Sing? Dancing was more than enough for me. I don't sing. Don't exactly have the voice of an angel.
Ah.
You alright?
Ah, but you look like one.
Murdoch laughs. I know it shouldn't, but Cliff saying that makes my face all warm. Maybe because of how innocent it sounds coming out of his mouth. Maybe because I actually enjoyed being around him last night. It's a good thing Jebediah isn't watching. I still don't know what to think of that horse.
Besides, the beauty of singing lies in enjoying yourself. It's not all about performing well. At least, that's what they told me every week at choir practice.
He chuckles.
I suppose I wasn't very good either.
Jebediah steps back from the wagon, turning to Cliff. Ready to go.
Splendid!
We catch the first rays of sunlight just as we pass the town gates. Ooh. This is a nice adventuring tune, ain't it? I don't need to see much to know that there's a barren wasteland stretching out for miles in front of us. Hoping we might see some of the woods. Ain't been a forest for God knows how long. The clacking of hooves makes quite a racket in this early in the morning. Jebediah's in his wagon, Cliff walking by his side. Either the donkeys are stronger than I thought, or Cliff didn't bring much anything. Murdoch and I are lagging behind. Isn't that the prettiest sight you've ever seen? Never seen a sunrise before? Come on, Sam, where's your sense of adventure? Must have lost it with the blow to the back of my head. But I can't say that. I keep thinking about what Hendrix said earlier. Pang of guilt hits me when I think of what might happen to Nick once James realizes his whore's out of town. Is he gonna lose his job? Get killed? It'd all be my fucking fault. Add to that the list of terrible things I've done. I'm gonna have to live with it. I try shaking off the feeling. Maybe talking will help. You leave town often? For errands and the occasional spot of nature photography, yes. But never too long. I spend enough time trying to keep up with the things at home. Yourself? Strikes me that I've never learned much about you. You're not from around Deco, are you? Originally, I mean. Of course he fucking knows. I'm not surprised at this point. I have to shield my eyes from the sun once I look forward again. Its color in the desert a glinting orange, and I have to agree with Murdoch. It does look beautiful. Cliff's struggling with a heavy map that's about as big as he is. He's looking back at us when a gust of desert wind blows it against his face with a loud smack, knocking his glasses askew. He squeaks in surprise. Jebediah, maybe in an act of mercy, takes the map from him without question, taking a peek at it himself. I too am rather curious. The stoat slows down to join us, bottle brush tail swaying side to side, and fixes his glasses. Seems I've got an audience. I ain't from around here, no. Not even the state.
Southeastern side of the country, perhaps?
Managed to pick that up? The Magnolia State. Oh, I'm curious. What is the Magnolia State?
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry, I know you're recording, but we have a serious problem.
What's wrong?
The tub is not draining at all anymore.
Ooh.
So our tub is fucking broken. That's awesome.
What is the Magnolia State?
Here is some information about Mississippi.
Oh.
Mississippi is a southern U.S.
Shut up. We're from Mississippi. Damn it. Let me properly translate all of Samuel's voice into real Mississippi accent. The Magnolia thing! Oh, fuck. I'm sorry.
I knew it.
You did?
His accent clued me in. That and his way of speaking. Linguistics might not necessarily be my area of expertise, but I like to pay attention. After all, languages and how they're spoken play a large role in not only communication, but in social and cultural identity as well. They tell you a lot about where a person came from, even what kind of person they are sometimes.
just by listening to them. That's a scary thought.
Yes.
Yes!
It's rather interesting. I'd love to go over it in more detail at some point.
You seem to have an accent all your own, Cliff.
I may be Batavian, but I've lived abroad for a few years now. I haven't even gone back to visit.
You still speak Batavian?
I haven't spoken it in a while, actually. After I left the university, I never felt the need.
Well, I'd love to hear it. What about you, Sam? Jebediah? Horse grunts, and the music died. Horse grunts, cant in his head as he looks at the map. Cliff starts stammering, eyes darting left and right. Ring the pop goes the weasel. What the fuck? I nod, just glad the attention's off me for a moment.
You're putting me on the spot.
He's stiff as a board. I'm not asking you to recite the Declaration of Independence, just a simple good morning will do.
All right.
Oh, Guten Morgen. That's fucking German. It's not exactly German. It would be Guten Morgen, but it's Germanic at the very least. He mumbles it under his breath. I didn't quite catch that. Cliff furrows his brow, take a deep breath. Good morning! Just screaming good morning at somebody. Jesus Christ. I'm not sure I've ever heard some of the sounds that just left his muzzle. He stands there for a moment, smacking his lips as he tries to repeat it. I've officially given up on learning Batavian. Cliff suppresses a laugh.
Quite a shame. You were on the right track.
I'm a photographer, not some cunning linguist. I bet you might be a cunning linguist. It's an oral joke.
You seem cunning enough to me. But we were talking about Sam.
Shit. That we were. Language lessons will have to wait.
There's one thing in particular I'm curious about.
Which is?
How'd you end up working in a brothel of all places? You're not exactly,
Cliff. Murdoch leans in, voice lowering to a whisper. Jebediah is right there. Cliff's eyes shoot wide open. Doesn't seem like Jeb notices, though.
Pardon me, I was simply curious.
Heard that before. Just looking at me, you wouldn't expect me to be the horror type. Most folks would guess a criminal, and they'd be right.
A short summary will do.
Not much to say, really. I came here for the gold, same as everyone else. Wasn't too good at mine work, though, so that dream ended right quick. Cliff nods urgently, little ears twitching. And then what happened? Catch Jebediah turning to us, map in hand. He's probably wondering why we've slowed down to a crawl. All eyes are on me. Madame Dora found me while I was doing some odd jobs. Said she could help if I was willing to do work. Feel my cheeks burn. Just this day, then it'll all be over. I was expecting something a little more exciting.
You don't know the half of it. I should have guessed you worked in the mines in the past. Your build says it all.
I sheepishly shrug my shoulders. Just a few weeks. And I'm not sure I'd ever go back, even if I got offered all the gold in the world.
Still.
This fellow's already picturing you in a miner's uniform, Sam.
I most certainly am not.
He definitely is. Jeb leans forward in his wagon looking over at us. Alright, folks, let's get a move on. I think that's the first full sentence I've ever heard him say on this expedition so far. We want to be somewhere shady by noon, and we ain't gonna get anywhere at this rate. We have to pick up the pace. Remember, your flask ain't for leisurely sipping. Ration your water. We ain't gonna find clear drinking water for quite a while. Murdoch, about to drink, quickly stows away his flask again. There you go, brudda. And so, we keep walking. Sun's up now, and I can finally see my paws in front of my eyes. It ain't so cold anymore either. Every now and then, Murdoch asks Cliff how to say a certain word in Batavian. Cliff's answers are starting to sound stranger every time. And what do you call nature photography? Man, I'm starting to think that Cliff is a big ol' fucking fake. I think he's a fakey McFakerson. Cause that was flat out Germanic. Not exactly German. The good morning specifically. This, I don't even know. I feel like this is that phenomenon in Japanese where people make fun of it all the time, but it's a real thing where in Japanese they just don't have a fucking word for whatever it is in English. They just pronounce it out, and then that's where you wind up with stuff like, instead of convenience store, it's convenience store, and you can basically be. That's why if you say it slowly, people can kind of sound that out a little bit. But nature photography. Like that just straight up, that's just a fucking lie right there. That's not even, no, it's not. In fact, let's get a little Snoopy Doopy over here. Now, I doubt that fucking Google Translate has Batavian, so I'm gonna go with just straight up English to German here. Nature photography. Oh, holy shit. Well, shit in my fucking mouth. That's actually it. Just fucking shoot me. I swear to Christ. You just keep surprising me. Is that a compliment, Mr. Burns? Fuck it. I assure you I have nothing but respect for you and your language. What about you, Jebediah? Another grunt from the horse. I think he feels the same. Okay, so what about this one? Something makes the cart rattle. Donkeys bray as they pick up speed, dragging the cart far away from us. Murdoch barks in surprise and we both pick up our pace, Cliff sprinting ahead. Nasty scraping sound goes off as the cart comes to a halt, the donkey's now kicking up dust. As we catch up, I can see Jeb holding the reins of his donkeys. Their eyes are turned up and they're showing their gums as they gibber and stomp. Don't come no closer! He made a shushing noise, whistling the wind between his teeth. They're scared. Oh, fuck. We were having such a good time, too. He waits until they stop kicking up dirt and lets go of their reins, patting each on the head. Scared of what? Dunno. They usually ain't like this. Acting like a predator's nearby. A predator! Oh, God, he's so scared. Man. I thought we left Echo. When Chase left Echo, it was well, no, he was fucked up even when he left Echo. It just got worse when he was in it. Likely aught but the wind. Could have picked up the scent of a carcass baking under the sun. These beasties need a moment. We have to stay put for a while. Got an idea for how long? Shouldn't be more than an hour at worst. I see Murdoch hop into the wagon, his white-tipped tail poking out as he rummages through some things. When he re-emerges, he pulls out a fairly thick wooden box and has a folder under his arm. Not a problem. Let's go make some calotypes. Calotypes? Cliff? I don't know what that is. He hops out of the wagon and leads Cliff away through some pine trees. Do you see pine trees in this picture? I fucking don't. Hope they don't get too reckless and lose track of time. I lean against the wagon and sigh. Jeb is walking to the front of the cart. I lift one of the canvas flaps, about to take a peek at him, pulling on the lever while shoving forward. So what's the problem? I had to slow the jennies down with the brakes while they were at a full gallop. And? Jeb gives me a look. They're not supposed to do that. Brake drums could be stripped. What's a brake drum? Metal pieces that press against a wheel axle. It's what happens when you pull the brake lever. Stops it from moving as easy. How come you don't know that? Know what? How things work. My face feels a little hot. Didn't have much opportunity to learn such things. That's surprising. What is? I just had you pegged for a handyman with a build like that. Maybe you're more of a soldier. He's nosier than I thought, too. And you sure seem to think a lot for a farmer. A dumb farmer's a dead farmer. More of a rancher, though. Not the best growing soil in these parts. Unless you eat pine cones. Can't say I have. Could tell. You ain't a string bean like that weasel, so you must eat well. Speaking of which, mind getting behind the cart, I want to test the brakes. I pull my head out from under the canvas and walk to the back of the cart, repositioning my stance and bending my knees. My paws rest on the tailgate plank. A little bit lower. Try to push near the framework. This fine? That'll do it. He pulls a wooden lever at the front of the wagon again. Push as hard as you can. I put the weight of my core behind my forearms and try to make the wagon budge. I grunt, and the wood creaks from the force I apply, but it doesn't give. Looks like we're good to go. Takes about 10 minutes for Cliff and Murdoch to show up again. How'd it go, you two?
It was blistering.
But we got some decent captures of the countryside, I think. Ready to move. Hop on in the wagon if any of you get dizzy. We push on without much trouble. Fox and the Weasel, although they are the most talkative, me and Jeb stay relatively quiet. The noise of the trains is a quiet hoot in the distance. We've been going for hours now. This sounds like the main menu music. Or not the main menu music, but the Echo Project bumper at the beginning. Little credit. This is what that sounds like. Echo's a tiny dot in the distance, but the load on my shoulders hasn't gotten any lighter. We've gotten to a slightly sloping path lined by boulders and sagebrush. I thought it couldn't get any warmer, but it has. My bag? Oh, my bag is starting to stick to my back. Shirt as drenched as my fur is. It's getting more than a little uncomfortable. I'd complain, but my mouth's so dry, it's like I taste fire with every breath. Every breath I take's a brief respite from the taste of whatever crawled into my mouth and died. I need a whiskey. Or a tall glass of sweet tea. Looking around, I ain't the only one. Both Cliff and Murdoch have their tongues lolling out their muzzles. It's more than a little strange to see Cliff this disheveled. Even after sleeping with him, he still looked all prim and proper. The only one keeping a stern face is Jebediah, who's lowered his cap over his eyes. So, how long is this gonna take? We're about halfway to the sightseeing point right now. Is that far? We ain't even gotten to the steep part yet. The steep part? Never been to the sightseeing part before. It's a pretty popular hiking spot. But it's such a long walk.
I've heard people say it's haunted. Baseless rumors, of course, but intriguing nevertheless. Would you happen to know anything about her, Jebediah?
A few stories, yes. Sometimes when you shout into the canyon at a specific time, you'll hear a voice. Sometimes several voices. There's also tales of folks who peeked over the canyon's edge and saw corpses down below. When they went down to look, however, there was no one there.
Well, that sounds awful.
I've heard that one too. Usually from miners too drunk to even walk out the door without tripping over themselves, so I'm not entirely convinced. People have actually died here, you know.
Really?
I've heard William mention it once or twice. People go out for a hike and never come back. Sometimes it's dehydration. Sometimes it's he winces. Sometimes it's something worse. What, like suicide? Maybe. Accidents are common, especially when alcohol is involved. It doesn't take much to slip and fall when you're at the top. Especially for drunkards showing off. So, we go in there again. Wipe the sweat off my brow and undo one of the buttons on my shirt. Cliff doesn't miss it, and somehow managing to get his tongue back into his mouth before talking it again.
It's the fastest way to the settlement. Don't worry, there's no such thing as your typical ghost. This blasted heat is more likely to kill us than any old apparition.
So why are you interested in them?
Legends and myths like that play a large role in cultures all over the world. Whether about the creation of the earth or about the voices we hear when we're alone at night. These stories shape our society and how we see the world. I'm not exactly a pious man, Samuel, but
Sorry?
But there is something special about the unexplainable.
Fuck.
Believing we're part of some greater whole.
Do you believe in God, Cliff?
I don't know, to be honest. My mother and father were devout Catholics, as was my sister. I went to many a sermon in my youth, but as I got older and struck out on my own, I realized that who I am as a person...
He takes a deep, shuddering breath, shaking his head.
Who I am as a person didn't exactly align with what was expected of me.
I'm starting to understand what he meant by kinship last night. We're misfits. All of us.
But you didn't join me on this expedition just to hear me prattle on about myself.
It's okay. Indeed, we're in this for the long haul, after all. We're going to be relying on one another a lot.
That we are. I couldn't ask for better companions. Thank you. All of you.
That includes you, Jebediah. Horse tips his hat at us. I grit my teeth. I'm gonna hate leaving them tonight. But I need to do it. Actually... The fox stops in his tracks, grabbing his camera. He gestures at us. Would you mind?
Oh, a picture? Won't that be a waste of film?
You underestimate me, Mr. Tibbets. I've brought enough film to last us quite a while.
Oh, all right then.
Don't you worry, Cliff. I'll capture your good side. Do we have time for it? We're actually making pretty good headway. Should be fine. He stops the wagon, leaning back with a long sigh. Good lighting is the most important thing for an outdoor photograph. That boulder should do.
Won't it be blistering?
It's modeled with enough shade. It should be fine.
Oh, so it is.
I told you so. Why don't you stand next to him, Sam? Absolutely not. Suit yourself, sourpuss. Looks likely down, and tilt your head to the left. I'll count down from 3. Remember to sit still and give me your best smile. 3, 2, 1.
Got it.
Let's get one without your shirt.
Why?
Because he's a sex pervert.
In that case, the shirt comes off.
I thought you'd be more understanding, Sam. I just think it ain't the smartest move to leave evidence. No telling what folks would do with this stuff in the wrong hands. With a body like Cliff's, I find it very easy to imagine what somebody would do with his image in their hands. Besides, he's only shirtless. For now. For now. I shake my head as this sorry sight goes on for 10 more minutes. Oh, there it is.